Hello, everybody in the Expo. How are you? I hope you're having an amazing morning. Can I just say that I am loving this? I have had a great morning so far. Let me just make sure I haven't got some random sound coming through from my live stream, because this morning I'm back in my office. The last couple of days I've been working off the kitchen table while I worked on a massive project. I clicked submit on that last night. It's all done. It's such an exciting thing. I tell you what, and I had a reward. I haven't watched any. My guilty pleasure is sitting and watching Netflix, particularly soppy shows that just make me feel good, that my husband hates. And I got to do that last night because he's not home. So that was my reward for finishing off my the big project I was working on last night. And honestly, I've been working on it for a couple of weeks now. But now let me just get back into the group so that I think I'm streaming in the wrong place. I am too. Do you know what? Those of you who have watched this so far, I'm going to vanish. I need you to drop across into Lucia's Expo group. I will pop a link in the chat, jump across there because that's where I'm supposed to be. Bye. Good morning. I don't know about you, but I just had a very interesting start to this morning. I just posted this to my live stream on my personal page instead of in the group. Yay for me. And here's me thinking that I was all set for the day. Never mind. I'm here now and I'm just checking in so that I can look, a phone set up so I can check in on any questions as they come in while we're chatting this morning. And I look like I'm in the right spot. Yes. Gotta be happy with that when you actually get it right finally. So tell me, amazing people, how are you? How has your morning been? Has Saturday morning been a good start for you? Anyway, I'm here now. The phone is set up. The presentation is ready. Let's get this show on the road. My little stand is doing funny things. I don't know what's going on. I haven't been working out of my office for about a week, honestly. I had this really big project that I've been working on that I needed lots of space to spread out in my office. I'm in the middle of rearranging it. It's a horrible mess, hence the blurred background. And so I took over the kitchen table. And last night I clicked submit on the final step of that. And now I wait and I'm so excited. But can I tell you one of the things that I did, because this was a big draw for me. We were talking yesterday about setting goals and choosing goals that are, you know, relevant to your love language and things that you love. I sat down last night in front of TV. I cooked up some like dim sims and stuff like that, which is, I get it's not the healthiest food, but it's my guilty pleasure. And another guilty pleasure is being able to sit in front of TV, particularly Netflix, and watch soppy movies and soppy TV shows that my husband hates. Well, he's away and I finished my project, and once I clicked submit, I wiped the night. I ate this frozen food in front of the TV and I did nothing, and it was the best. Now, let me let me share with you about what I'm doing and why. Good morning, Reg and Lucia and Ali. Hello. Oh, I don't feel so bad that I started my live on my Facebook page now. Mitch, I know that you're watching this. Can you please jump back in and put the link to this onto that live that I did by mistake for me, and so that people can actually jump in here and see it if they want to. All right, let me get into what I want to share with you guys today. We're going to do a little recap, but as you know, first thing we do, an acknowledgement of country. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners on the land on which each of us are standing. Now, I don't care where you are in the world, but particularly within Australia, this is something that's incredibly, incredibly important. And as I've mentioned previously, if you are uncomfortable with doing an acknowledgement of country, don't understand the implications, etc., like there's a million things behind it. It's not, it's a respectful thing. That's all it is. It's about showing respect. But what I would like to do is acknowledge the traditional owners of this land. To the east of me are the Jagera people, and to the west are the Gayabal and Yarrawa people. And I would like to give my thanks for their work and their dedication as custodians of the land. And I'd like to acknowledge their elders, past, present, and emerging. Now, let me jump into the stuff that I want to share with you today. Let me just flick this. I'll tell you what, it is definitely easier being on two screens so that when I share, I can share my other screen. And it's beautiful from the moment I start. What I'm talking with you today is about how to break through barriers so that you can create massive success. Massive success. And I know that there's a bunch of other people who are presenting in here as a part of this expo who are wanting to help you do similar things, right? We all have our own way of doing things. We all have our own little zone of genius. You will gel with different people. The content that all of us share is all relevant. It is all relevant. I know Elizabeth has been talking about busting through glass ceilings. There's all sorts of stuff going on in and around this space. And the thing is that there's little nuggets that you'll pick up everywhere. And then there will be some people where you want, oh, I want more of that. That person resonates with me because that's where I am right now in terms of the help that I need. You know, they're here, I'm there, I want to get to that place. Let's go to that dream outcome. They can help me get there. So who else is on here? Lorraine, hello. And Elizabeth, hi. Lovely to see you. And Ariel. And Sandra, hello. Oh, I love this. Love this so much. Now that I'm set up, I can see people properly instead of my little what I was doing. Anyway, let's jump into the meat of this. Let me share with you, first of all, remember we went back to the Dream Tree framework. Now, this was all about helping you get really clear on your dreams so that it helps you automatically develop an additional level of confidence. And it can help you define what your success or your dream outcomes are for you as an individual. It's so important to be clear on what you want. And look, again, there are a million different ways that you can express this. You need to find, when you choose to work with a coach, as a coach, I have 3 coaches that I work with for different reasons, right? They work on their focus is on very different parts of my world. Some of it is more of a personal, some of it is business, some is of a specific skill set. Now, it's really, really important that whoever you choose to work with in whatever space, that their language makes sense to you, that their message makes sense, that what they're doing resonates with you deeply. Because I have been guilty of committing to a coach who I'm like, they're good, but they're not quite there, but I'll do it anyway because whatever reason. Maybe it was a, pushy sales conversation. Maybe I was feeling a bit guilty. Maybe it was the whole, they need some help and I need some help, so we'll just help each other. There's a bazillion different things. Good morning, Dean. There's so many different reasons as to why we will say yes to a coach. My suggestion to you is when you want to say yes, and this is one of my coaches taught me this just the other day, stop and go, think about it. Put a little bit of focus back on yourself, pause, and then and sometimes that pause might be a few days, and sometimes it might be a few minutes, and sometimes it's, who knows, but that's dependent on you. But make really certain that whoever you choose to work with can help you go from getting these dreams that are underneath and currently not visible to the rest of the world out into physical reality. Good morning, Miss Rebecca. I haven't seen you on here for ages. Lovely, lovely, lovely to see you, my beautiful friend. So please be very aware that you must stop and honor who you are as a human being as you bring those coaches into your world to help you. And there are so many people that, you know, I have helped, so many people who have helped me, but it's really it's very, very important that you gel and can help each other in, and, you know, quite frankly, so Elizabeth, who is on here right now, is a friend of mine, and she's also one of my coaches. I'm completely okay with having, I actually prefer to have friendships with my coaches as well as a professional relationship. Other people prefer to have a very separate delineation, and that's completely fine. You've got to work out with whatever it is that works for you. So part of this is defining, where we're talking there in and around this framework, part of that is defining about what it is that you want for you. Be very aware of that, and as you define that framework underneath your life, the rest of it will become much more clear. And that thing about the boundaries just drops in, honestly. Most of them will just literally drop in, because when you know what you want, you just go, this is what I want. It's when you don't know what you want, oh, this could do, that might work. Get clear. Please, please, please invest the time in getting clear. I can help you with that. If you want the help, you've got to want the help. If you don't want the help, that's okay. Get clear anyway, right? Just get clear. It's really, really important. I'll jump off this one now, because otherwise I'll stay on the soapbox all day and not share the other information with you. Now, as we're getting clear, then we've got to set some goals. And we went through this yesterday in the day 2. So if anyone is wanting further information about this, jump back into my previous lives. So it's about setting smarter goals, going through all those steps in the relevant order. So we go specific, measurable, actionable, timed, realistic, define your reward, and evolving. Your goals need to change on a daily basis. One of the goals that I set with Elizabeth in our last conversation was about clearing spaces in my life. And in the moment, that's a physical thing, because I've got mess and clutter, like I mentioned yesterday. So the day that I spoke with her, I had this one particular space that I needed to clear, and I cleared it, and it was all done, and it was great. The next day, I was a bit more overwhelmed, and so I just cleared a really small space in my kitchen, but I still cleared a space. That wasn't what my original goal was, but because of the job that I had when I was finished off that big project, I hit a glitch at the end. It took more time than I thought. And so I evolved. I still hit that goal. I still reached that goal of clearing myself a space, but I modified that goal because of what was happening in my life. And then today I go back to, well, my goal for today is the other end of the desk as a bare minimum. But at the end of it is the reward. So my reward for today is being able to happily go to my friend's place, who is setting up this amazing Christmas feast, so she can take a photo shoot. I'm not going to let myself get ready for that until the far end of my desk is organized. So a little bit of accountability there, but also the delayed gratification. I love Christmas. I've got a whole Christmas outfit planned. Like it's all systems go here, but that's my reward for going through here. Now, why is that reward so important? Because when you use really good rewards, they will draw you. They will motivate you. Quite frankly, my body is exhausted. I would love to spend the day on the couch, but I have stuff to do. My dream outcomes need attention. So I am setting a reward that will draw me and motivate me and help me get those things done. And yes, these things tick into my love languages. They also tick into my little fascination with Christmas and earrings and a few other things, right? So one of the things that I get to do, though, this afternoon is quality time. And another one is acts of service, in that I am being served by my friend. I'm helping her by being there. She's a photographer whose focus is on food, and she is doing this big Christmas spread, getting a bunch of us to come along. She's going to feed us, and throughout the entire event, she's going to be photographing so that she can create content for her business, right? So like in that process, like I don't see a lose here, honestly, and from my perspective, because I get to be fed, and oh my Lord, I get to celebrate Christmas in October, you know. But that's my reward for clearing the far end of my desk. I'll post into the group when I'm done, and I'll share some photos with you. Now, along that journey of getting these things done, there's gonna be some challenges. I want you to imagine that this is your life right now, right? This is you. You are here right now in this little space down the bottom left corner. If you have a look at this, some people call this like an XY axis. If you go back into like maths and all that scientific-y stuff where I used to live my world, this is where you are right now is the starting point. In any, if you think back in the apex of that there, that's, 0, 0. That's today. Let's just say this is the A, your point A, whatever you want to call it, this is where you are right now. As you progress forwards towards those goals that we've spoken about, or those desired outcomes, your dream outcomes, this is what we would like it to look like. How often does it? Not very often. I was just sharing yesterday about how I had that big project and I thought it was going to be fine because I had all my data sitting there and all I needed to do was copy from here into the website and it was done and everything would be fine. And I had to do it 25 times because there's 25 different things that needed to be entered. And then I went back and looked at my email confirmations and there were 23 and I couldn't work out what to do when I was past the deadline. It's a little bit stressful. However, once I got my 25 sorted out, desired outcome done. But even in amongst this process, right, instead of this going through from where we were to that dream outcome, it kind of looks more like this usually, doesn't it? You and I both know that when we're working towards something, we are often, it doesn't matter whether we are looking at, reducing our body weight like I was talking about yesterday, whether we are working on a project, whether we are sorting out our house, but honestly, life is very rarely a straight line. And honestly, if you think about an ECG, a straight line is not a good thing. We want the heartbeat in there. Life is designed to be ups and downs. That's why we get the joy and the sorrow and the excitement and the fear. And it's all, it's a part of our world, right? Here's the thing. As you are progressing, I wish I had a better pointer on this one. I probably do actually. Hang on a second. There we go. As we are progressing, I'd forgotten about this. As we are progressing along this line, when we get to these little peaks, every so often, we will hit a spot and it will make us want to, and we will stop. What is this doing? Oh, there we go. Yes, dream outcome. I didn't edit the other bit well, did I? This little line here, we call it a terror barrier. Now, what happened? What does this show up as? If you look at, let's think about you trying to create change within your business, right? So for me right now, I am doing a little bit of a revisit and I'm going back and rearranging the systems that I currently have in place and formalizing them a lot more. Now, it's really, my default is to want to just move forwards and move forwards and move forwards and move forwards, right? It's the excitement for me is in the building and in the progressing. However, I know that to be able to progress quickly in the way that I want to and to build the business so that it has the impact that I'm looking for, I need to slow down for a moment and revisit those systems that I have in place across my entire business so that they are as effective as they can be and so they can be streamlined, and that even things like that customer journey with when people first make contact with me and then come on board as a new client, a lot of those things just need to be tweaked a little bit, and some of them, quite frankly, need to be established from scratch, because a lot of what I've done, I have just done it. It's like up in here and I need to formalize more of it. So I need to pull up and slow down so that I can accelerate later on. Now, I'm feeling a lot of resistance in myself about that, because when we go, I know that once this is done, my business is going to take off in a way that it never has before. And there's a little bit of fear attached to that. And everybody will have this at some point. And whether you call it a fear barrier or a terror barrier or whatever else, that's, we can use whatever language we like. I like the term terror barrier because it just kind of makes sense. I don't like the fact that terror is so close to Terri, but, we can work on that one. Anyway, hello, Peter. Hi. There's a whole bunch of other people who are in here, and I thank you very much, but I'm again, getting myself distracted. I need to stay focused here. Otherwise I won't get through my content. The thing about when we were looking at that graphic before, and we're, it's going up and down, and then we hit that terror barrier and we bounce back off it and fall back a little bit. Now that might be in performance. It might be, in my case, where the going up is actually the going down of the scales. If I hit a barrier and something comes up and I then decide to like bury myself in chocolate again or whatever, the progress is not going to be as I want in terms of what my body shape is doing. So the thing is that the terror barrier will show up in so many different ways. It can show up as overwhelm. It can show up as procrastination. It can show up as self-sabotage. It'll show up as bright, shiny eyes. Oh, I can go do this. I could go do that. I won't stay focused on what I'm actually working on. I'll just go and do all these fun things, right? There are so many ways that the terror barrier will show up and slow down our progress towards that dream outcome that we're looking for. Now, the problem with allowing that to happen is it slows the progress of what we are wanting towards our goal. Now, how do we change that though? So let me go back. I haven't got my slides up the way that I need it, but here's my suggestion. When you are like knowing that you're not getting the progress that you want towards those desired outcomes, go back to here. Go back to your dream tree and work out what that is. Now, I actually will start, this is a part of what I share in my dream board workshops, and really the thing that is even more powerful than going back to your personal dream tree framework and looking back at those things is going back to your dream board, taking some time to deliberately stand in front of your board and meditate on it, focus on it, really get into the visuals and really get into visualizing your life when those things are true, because your dream board is about what you're creating in your life. We can have gratitude boards that are about the wonderful things that are in our life already. And this is not something, I have photos and things around that sort of make up the equivalent of a gratitude board for me. And I have a gratitude journal. Some people want a more visual representation of that. So the thing is that a dream board, though, is about those dream outcomes that we're looking for. Now, I don't know whether you noticed, but as I'm starting to talk about dream outcomes, think of what that abbreviation is. It's DO. You've got to do something to get from where you are now to where you want to be. And if you don't take the action, and if you allow that terror barrier to slow you down, you're not going to get to the dream outcome that you're actually looking for. So going back to your dream board to refocus your attention and refocus your effort, go back and review your goals and have a look at what you've actually set for yourself. Have you set a goal that's too big? Is that why you've stopped? Maybe you've overwhelmed yourself. And so we need to pull that back a little bit, break it down to more of a micro goal, and just look at what's the next little thing that you've got to do. What's the next one thing? What's the next, what's something you can finish before you go to bed tonight, so that you can then take a step towards where you actually really want to be. Now, all of these things take some time. You've got to be very self-aware to be able to pull these things together often. But it doesn't, like, there's a level of self-awareness there, having someone to coach you through that process. Man, I tell you what, I have watched, when I've helped my clients, I have a mastermind program, which is a small group training program that people come in and work with me on a weekly basis. And these are the sorts of conversations that we get to have in that space, where we set a goal and we come back to it next week. We don't set, like, we've got big picture conversations that happen within that space, but we don't set massive goals in that mastermind space. We set smaller goals that are designed to be achieved within a week, so that by the time we come back to having another conversation, we can check in with each other. How did you go? I can check in with my clients. Did you get your, this done? Have you been able to put this in place? Did you get to have that discussion with your partner so that you can both be on the same page about progressing towards the next big thing, right? All of those things we pop onto, we discuss in the mastermind so that my clients can progress forwards in a logical and supported way. And I'll tell you something else that happens is within that group, and it's something I didn't actually expect when I set up the mastermind, there's this beautiful micro community that builds within that space, because in that group, my masterminds are a maximum of 8 business owners in a space. The micro community that builds within that, because you get to understand each other so well, you get to see what each other's businesses are like, you get to understand who they are, who you are as individuals. We have a private chat group so that we can post into, so that if we need a little bit of help or an idea pops up through the week or something, there's a challenge that's coming past or a win that we want to celebrate, that people can share into there and support each other through the entire journey. Now, if you don't have that, obviously I can help you with that, but it's something that is really important to set up one way or another. I would love it if you would like to do that with me. It's not an expensive program. It's $269 a month, and you get 90 minutes every week with me in that group. It is a very, very economical coaching program, but it is also incredibly effective. Now, if you've got any questions, I'll pop some other information into the chat, because honestly, I didn't plan on talking about the mastermind in this one. But what I want is for each of you who are on here to be very aware that as you progress towards your goals, that terror barrier is going to kick at some point. When you start to lose motivation, whatever it is, other times it will just show out as straight down the line fear, right? And that's okay. It's a normal part of you progressing from where you are right now to that dream outcome that you're actually looking for. So embrace it, be aware of it, name it, label it, and then keep on going through it. Whatever you're doing for the rest of the day, have an amazing day. I know there's a phenomenal group of speakers coming behind me today. I want to say thank you for everybody who's actually here. And I will answer all your questions in a couple of minutes' time when I get back off this live. Have an amazing day, but for now it's bye from me.